James Wandile. What updates do you have for us down there in Cape Town?
Thank you very much once again. Indeed, the ANC story is the story that everyone is following, or everyone wants to know what's happening. And given that there is that Zuma Must Go press conference that you've just held, rather you've just shown with people who say they are members of the ANC, we've now got the spokesperson of the ANC, Pule Mabe, to really shed some light as to what exactly is happening, because here they are with the president of the ANC and the spokesperson, but there is also another structure up there in Pretoria. Mr. Mabe, there are members of the ANC, SABC, I think in Kosato, who call themselves Zuma Must Go, who are saying they are not moving from the union buildings unless President steps aside. So is this sanctioned by you?
Well, we have not sanctioned any activity like that. Actually, what we have sanctioned is for the regional leadership, both in Tshwane, in Johannesburg, and in Ekurhuleni, to be able to investigate the conduct of these members, and once established that these are members of the ANC in good standing, prefer charges against those, because there's a process in the ANC of dealing with this thing. The president of the ANC has spoken on all our behalf that while we understand the anxiety that this issue might have created because of its nature and all of that, he then appealed to members of the public to give us the necessary space to be able to resolve on this. We were already on record this morning pronouncing ourselves that tomorrow the National Executive Committee is sitting. So now if there is any other person who decides to convene a meeting when the National Executive Committee entrusted by conference is meant to meet tomorrow, then we should be asking ourselves. But the other critical question that we must ask is, how did the South African Broadcasting Corporation, fully aware of the communications machinery of the ANC, go and entertain a middle ground organization or individuals purporting to be speaking on our behalf without any mandate? Once media houses do that, they also make it difficult for us to do our work. We must be allowed to handle this issue in the manner that we have done. We have been able, each and everything bourgeois that has been happening, we were the first ones to report. When others thought that they are leaking the NEC meeting, we came and reported about it. Because the ANC must be seen to be in charge of this strategic initiative. We are not going to let loose. So if people are claiming to be our members, they must be reined in and operate within the realm of discipline of members of the ANC. People can't just go and, then tomorrow you'll have another movement of Zuma Must Not Go. What are we going to do? Then we're going to struggle to be able to speak in one voice. We have said, when the National Executive Committee of the ANC concludes its business, we're going to communicate one singular message to the South African public. And that message will be one that each one of our leaders, regardless of what our individual issues could be, are going to be speaking on those. So that the ANC is seen to be one on matters like this.
I'm sure, Mr. Mabe, you'd understand that as the public broadcaster, so whoever is giving us news or developments that are newsworthy, we would always carry. So I understand your position as the ANC, yes. But of course, whatever the public wants to know, yes. So as the SABC, we will do. But back to our issue. So is this not...
Actually, on that one, then it is important that when you do that, you are also saying to the South African public, you are speaking to concerned citizens.
That is why we call them the Zuma Must Go movement. But of course, let's go back to our issue. Let's not be distracted. Is this not indicative, Mr. Mabe, of perhaps divisions or what others perceive as indecisiveness on the part of leadership?
Well, I don't know what kind of barometer are we using to measure indecisiveness. When the leadership has been seized with this matter, being on top of the issue, effectively for the rest of the week, both myself and Kusela have been ensuring that you are kept updated. There is no single update. Even when we had to get the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Ace Makashule, to come and explain the postponement of the NEC meeting, it had to happen after 10 o'clock in the evening. This morning already we're on radio confirming that the NEC meeting is sitting on Monday. On Thursday, there was a statement issued by the president of the ANC, now articulating and advancing reasons behind their own meeting with President Zuma, to the fact that those meetings were constructive, were fruitful, and we're beginning to see signs that at the conclusion of this engagement, there will be sanity and will be able to move the country forward.
What has necessitated this special NEC meeting? Remember, it was postponed last week because we were told the discussions are constructive. So all of a sudden, and then perhaps 3 days before the actual NEC sits. So what is it that has necessitated this special NEC?
Now, this is when I ask the journalist a question. You are the one who said to me when we met a few days ago that is next week not too far. This is what journalists were saying, including yourself. That is the 17th, not too far. So we are bringing things forward so that we could be able to make sure that the leadership of the ANC takes a bite on the matter and communicates their own decision much quicker. So even when we do that, we are still asked, why now? Now, just be fair to the ANC. You said let's move with speed. Now this, and we said when there are developments, we'll be filing them accordingly with media outlets, so that we keep everyone informed.
So in conclusion, it means there will be the latest developments that the NEC needs to report on?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what are because journalists might define developments to mean many other things. What I can assure you is that decisions of the NEC, when the NEC concludes, will be communicated with the South African public, of course, through yourselves.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
That was the spokesperson of the ANC, the Pule Mabe, basically responding to the movement that held a press briefing, or rather is holding a press briefing in Pretoria, saying if President Zuma does not step aside, so they will not move from where they are. And of course, very strong words there to say they need to investigate if those people are genuine members of the ANC. If they are genuine members of the ANC, they would prefer charges against them, because there are processes that the leadership has already undertaken, and of course they view that in a very, very serious light.
Much for giving us that update there on the ground. ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe speaking to presidential correspondent for SABC News, Mzwandile Mbeje. Let's cross back to Pretoria, where that media briefing